Esports World Cup Finals for StarCraft 2. We said it was going to be close. We couldn't have been more wrong, at least so far. Right now, Clem up with a 3-0 lead in this best of 9.
It's a pretty big deal. Clem is someone who really does play on tempo, and when he's in the lead, it's really hard to stop him. I hope that this short break for these two players has allowed Serral to kind of center himself and get back into the mode that we know he can do, where he can win these games as well.
We're going to be going back to that right now. It is going to be up to Serral to try to turn this around. Otherwise, Clem may just be too out of control and can't be stopped. In the top right, in the red, he is Serral. And his opponent down here in the bottom left, in the blue, he is Clem. Much into the players' faces, but it does seem like Clem's still focused. Serral obviously doing his best at zeroing, but looking a little miffed right now.
Yeah. Well, I hope that he's centering that anger, right? Like we've seen it where sometimes he just gets this look on his face and then he just like solves things and fixes the problems and wins. And I'd love to see that. I'd love to see him start to come back and give us a really close series, because right now, like, I'm watching this man, and I've just never seen him play the level of what Clem is showing us. It is outstanding.
Well, it's very rare to see Serral tripped up in a developing game. I mean, that's kind of the ultimate thing a Zerg has to be able to do, is to develop, get a read on what they're doing, and then either get a direct solution to it or play around it. And so Zergs, from the very first day of Zerg learning the race to a moment like this, the Esports World Cup here in Riyadh, you're in a constant state of having to try to grow and stop them from thwarting you. And eventually you get Zergs that just kind of seem to be untouchable. They grow wherever they want to go. They can trick the player into trying to stop them in a location they're not even interested in. They can fake out tech, they can do it all. But so far, in the 3 games we've seen, Clem is just on top of it and punishing Serral. And Serral is in a very suffocated position when we get into the moment where Terran wants to push. And I think Serral's done a really good job of fighting back. It's actually been kind of remarkable to see him hold off Clem a couple times. But unless Serral either gets a successful rush off or has a very clean macro game where he goes uninterrupted, it's probably likely that Clem will recreate this situation over and over and over.
Definitely a possibility. I do want to take a moment here because, we're up 3-0 for Clem and he's been playing amazing, he looks great, but let's just really quickly go over just the broad strokes. 2 games, Serral tried Roach Ravager-based rushes, okay? If those don't work, you're behind and it's a tough spot. Okay, Clem stopped those, he lost 4 of those games. Another game, he went for a more standard approach, but the Hellion Banshee play that Clem did, he was able to force cancels on the 4th base twice, and then with his first set of stiff Marines, he actually killed the 5th base hatchery, which I guess we would call 4th at that point because the other was canceled twice. He was able to kill that off, right? So when you're looking at that, and it's like Serral did a little counterattack on that and everything, but it's like basically 2 rushes that Serral did that kind of failed, and then I don't feel like I normally see Serral having to cancel the 4th base multiple times to lose that bit, right? So I feel like if Serral plays a normal game, if he's not attacking, if instead he just focuses on fixing some of the positioning issues that did allow these forced cancels and everything, okay, maybe we get into a game there where it goes a little bit later and Serral can show the unbelievable strength of his late game server.
Right now, Clem roaming around the map, doing scouting. If you can kill something like a drone, it's going to be worthwhile. Serral's been pretty good about defending that. This map is very different in how it's set up structurally. You have a gold base that you get access to right away, and so that does create a different balance of unit composition here. If you go for roaches, more roaches is Zerg, more Zerglings, for Terran, more Marines. But it doesn't seem like there's going to be any kind of special rush or weird tech. I think it's probably just see 3rd, 4th, 5th bases a little bit quicker here on both sides.
I'd love to That's exactly what I love to see. See a little bit more value here so far for Clem, but that's normal. Serral right now, he has his 3 bases. He's not really losing drums or anything, droning up really heavily. And, looking over at the side here of Clem. Kind of standard is what we've seen so far. Nice quick double eBay. He has stim almost done here. He's going to go ahead and land that third command center, so that's nice and fast. But we haven't seen that 4 attach go up yet for Serral.
Now, we were talking about the fact that Clem was basically tripping up Serral in every single game, and Serral was able to have a healthy development game. Well, this game he has looked really good. He's growing steadily. Clem, really hasn't attempted to be that aggressive. They're both basically in a race independently of each other, trying to build up and grow as quickly as possible. The first real jam coming in here is going to be this double medevac drop that's coming towards the gold base. Yeah, up here. This expansion, and Clem's got to be careful. When those medevacs get damaged on the middle of the map, there's no easy way to heal them. You have to send them all the way back home. So Clem's going to try to put some pressure on here. Let's see if he can drive out this hatchery.
He's going to force a cancel on it, that's for sure. So that's 1 cancel on that 4th base. The roaches come up, and it looks like that's going to be just enough to push Clem back. But Serral is going to have to be careful because Clem's attacks are only going to get stronger. Both sides with 1-1 on the way, very well timed out against each other. Combat shields coming, with roach speed coming, and infestation hit here for Serral, so he does want to continue forward down that tech tree.
He's going to boost away. The drop in the main, this shouldn't do much. Yeah, Serral basically preempting a lot of moves here on the map. The Hellies are going to be hurled into this expansion. I think they might actually be able to give it that was actually worth it 6. Oh, there's even a replay, right? No, 6 kills on that is going to pay for itself. So that's a good way for Clem to use those units and get rid of them, try to get some value. Look at how he takes these fights in club. Look at the ones where he can't fight win. He's very good at keeping the Marines in an arc, and then this area where the roaches get stuck in together. They can't shoot that far. So he's able to keep a fight and then trade much more favorably than he ever normally would.
I feel like I'm watching a chess master that's solving puzzles right now, right? Like he's jumping over to the screen, he sees the location, instantly his brains pull back where the roaches kind of gets off the roaches, picks up leaves. Just instant value wherever he goes. It's really beautifully done here by Clem, who is continuing to make command centers. He's getting another factory going. He's 1-1, about to finish his armories lineup perfectly with that as well. But he did not get like any base kills or anything yet. And Serral does have that gold base while going to work, which is always a nice thing.
But for now, no one's really taking a clear lead. I think Clem's done a decent job of aggravating Serral and really, nice there. Take out some of those. That's why the first time Clem's really been shut down as far as trying to move on the map. He does have the second medevac, or set of medevacs, rather, moving out on the map, going towards the main. But Serral's on top of it. And this is really lining up to be much more of a Serral-esque game.
Yes, it looks very like promising compared to some of these other games that we've seen from Serral, right? You can see him differentiating himself as far as the supply goes. We haven't seen a hatchery dive. We did see 1 first cancel, but not 2. He's getting a nice, large army size. He already hit a very good fumble, right? Like there's a lot of very good things going on for Serral. He's getting into that ultraless attack that he's so good at, baiting speed, just everything, right? But it's not like Clem has done things poorly or wrong this game either, right? He's going out, he's going to take his sport at that gold base. He's going to start sucking up those additional resources. Double factory seed shakes are going, his upgrades are on time. A very good and even game right now. Remember, this map is very big. It's not easy to push the Zerg. There's not a really obvious spot to try to hit because you generally see the gold base hit. There's going to be anywhere that's hit, or that lights out a little bit past. Sometimes that spot becomes irrelevant as it's already been dried up. The game goes on long enough, but this is a map where I think Serral can kind of stretch both directions, top left and bottom right, and it's going to be probably one of the tougher late games for Terran in general out of all the maps we have at the time. Right now, a little bit of pressure coming out from Serral. I love the Harrison bomb starting to wind some value here. He's going to be able to throw that back there as well. And, continuing to push out of it. Oh, nice repair. Does keep that alive. And, Clem is setting up. And, it's not that far to this goal base that we're talking about, right? So if he can clear the creep up here, if he can creep his tanks up slowly but surely, he might be able to break through and punish that goal.
So Roach counterattack coming in over here. He could just get this command center kill. So that's a force cancel. In fact, it's going to probably be 2 force cancels over here. I think it's targeting down this command center in time. Now the Marines and the Rotter are going to come up here and how fast here. Can you manage? Oh my gosh. I knew that was possible, but wow, you really see the display there from Serral. There's a huge drop coming in here. We've had a lot of games of night display. We don't really see the kind of old school Brood Warriors mass overlord drop. We're going to have it now, and this should be paired up with some kind of attack in the Zerg also in the front.
I love this move from Serral in factor, right? He's getting down into a better position. He actually joins one of the tanks. He's going to pick that off. Has to back up for now because Clem is actually starting to push up this ramp. But that drop should be going off.
What is happening with the drop?
Oh, he hasn't gone in yet. Okay.
I guess he wants to wait for Terran to try to make their move on the map. Clem's been so zeroed in on microwave and hitting multiple locations at once. It's possible he misses that. Seeing 2 overlords.
Yeah. He's got all these great units on that. He messed this up. So, a little bit of a mistake there from Serral. He is going to go ahead and get that drop off and do counterattack at the same time. Clem even using the command center to lift SCVs back, stimming backwards here. A great gliding cloud of the tanks, and before he gets that planetary, and he will have to run away, but gets a good amount of SCVs there as well.
That was beautiful by Clem. He shut that down on both sides. And Serral did a little bit of damage there at the expansion, but honestly, Clem recovers, and Serral, long-term, hasn't really stopped anything or delayed anything.
Look at the cost efficiency here.
Yeah.
Twice as much for Clem. Twice as efficient. How do you do that against Serral?
I thought it was impossible, to be honest. Serral still has a lot of map to take. Some of these smaller maps, all the bases are taken, and you kind of see the general direction the game's going. And we've got a lot more expansions to be had here for Serral and for Clem. Although generally it's hard for Terran to get too much of the map and maintain that balancing act and defense on both sides.
Right now, some snipes are coming out. That +3 air base almost done. In fact, he's plating a force already done with his ultralisks. More siege tanks, more ghosts, more command centers here for Clem. This is +3 attack. Is almost done. It's +3 armor is actually very far behind. That must have just been a little bit of a mistake from him. But you know what? Right now, both sides are max. Serral has a little bit bigger bait, but that's it. The bait doesn't make him ahead here. I definitely look at this position and think that Clem is winning this game right now. But Serral has 93 drones, and you can do a lot with 93 drones.
Yeah. He's got a real economic engine behind him, but so far the engagements haven't really worked out, and that's really important. We are starting to fill in all the remaining spots on the map. It's got crazy. We're only about 13 minutes. There's almost no more bases to take anywhere. I guess one more for Clem just below, just outside of where his second base is. But yeah, things are really heating up.
Dude, Clem is he's killing stuff every time he sees Zerg, and Zerg is not doing the same. Okay, well, that's how that. Yeah. Very well done, Serral. All right, touche. But one thing to note is that Clem right now is actually adding more factories in the second armory, and Serral is adding double spire.
Right.
So they both are kind of realizing that this game has real potential to go super long, right? We're only at 13, 14 minutes right now, but the way they're setting up is for a game that might mine out the map.
They're basically getting ready for super late game development. We could have one of these games where the Zerg has a punch in composition, throws it into the Terran, and then he makes a completely different composition to try to counter whatever Terran would then try to remake. And Zerg can do this when they get dramatically ahead in minerals and gas. You get to these opportunities that are unusual in the other matchups. But definitely a common sight here in the TTC from the Zerg perspective. Clem is still trying to push out. The creep spread has been really good. The entire map is basically paved with creep everywhere. Although Clem is trying constantly to clean that up.
Yeah, and we just saw that cost efficiency about twice as much for Clem, and he just continues to be so ridiculously efficient here. One thing to mention is I think there's something like 14, 15 siege tanks out. So I do like the, 15 siege tanks at the moment. I do like the fact that you got double spire. He's actually doing upgrades before that greater spire, which makes me a little bit nervous. If you don't have the potential to go for the brood lords, how are you actually going to get through 15 tanks with 2 more at a time being made currently? I guess that's one line. You start picking them off, sir. Yeah, that's probably the best way, actually. I'm going to give it to you.
The lane run buys are not bad here. Really getting to an insanely dramatic TVZ right now. I don't know where exactly Clem should try to go to. The gold base is in range, so I guess that's a place you can try to hit. But again, this is going to matter long term. Zerg has about 180 degrees of map presence around the Terran. That doesn't mean the Terran can't win, but gosh, it's a lot to try to hack all your way through.
The positions that are being set up are so tough. If you look at this, it's like sensor powers going up, missile turrets, siege tanks spread really well. Goes in there with a bunch of bio that's ready to stim. He's making it so difficult for Serral to do anything, which is a big part of why the cost efficiency is so high for him. Still clearing out a lot of his creep as well. He did kill that hatch at the goal, although it was mostly gone. Ooh, the Infessor. I love the Infessor setups that he has. This is like such an important thing that may come into play later on.
We're getting nice networks plugged in all over the map so that Zerg can easily switch into whatever side of the map needs the attention to defend these locations. Clem's going to try to take one of the last spots available on the map, and Serral has something to say about that. He's going to drive that defense center all the way away. Just now going to try to reland. Meanwhile, another attack up here at the top, and it seems like Clem is going to shut it down on both sides.
Yeah, Serral starts to move in, but takes a few shots, so realizes that that may not be the right choice. A ton of mules dropping down. +2 air attack, the other spire going towards the greater spire. So he is going to go for that Broodlord attack. And honestly, I think that that's a very important tech switch that we're going to need to see. Right? Like how many Broodlords are you actually going to make? Because don't forget, there's like a lot of factors. So something like Ghost plus Thor might just knock those out really quickly. But you also may need the Broodlords to break certain positions. This type of army that Serral has can't attack in a mass team turret Ghost. Look at that.
That was nice. It's barely maxed out. Now, although Serral has a lot of the map and kind of surrounds Clem with expansions, these expansions on the exterior are going to be very pushable for Clem. So sometimes games, just like the one that we saw there, these games where it looks like Zerg has too much can turn into their few farthest away bases being killed over and over, and sometimes Terran just squeezes into one of those last 2 locations. A la that Maru play style that has been very popular over the past 4 years, 4 or 5 years or so. We call that Terran exhaust play. This could be a route for Clem to try to play this game out and win that way.
Yeah, one thing that Clem is doing very differently from the way Maru might play a position like this, like Maru oftentimes in these types of positions will go for like mass liberator as opposed to mass siege tank. But this is definitely a mass siege tank, mass ghost type of play. I haven't really seen Beyond try this type of play in the late game, but I feel like Clem is doing it to this other level that we haven't seen yet. The fact that he has 17 siege tanks and 24 ghosts, 24.
Insane, man.
Oh my gosh.
So these 2 bases in the bottom right are being remade over and over again, and they're getting denied over and over again. Clem just keeps coming through here and clearing this up. He's not even eager to expand here just yet. He's kind of just poking it out and then running away. And it's almost like he's just saving these for later on.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot that Serral can do. It's hard to get in that area. It's a very narrow corridor. Serral's answer is to try to do a huge counter push here with these Broodlords. Only one Broodling going to come in here. The memo to turn around. But he's shown the Broodlings, and a scan confirms it. And so when you see Broodlords on the map, you kind of know that you can start to really punish a certain positionally, because the Broodlords are basically the slowest unit in the game. So you just hit wherever they're not.
Broodlords do take a little bit of time flying around. He's getting Neural here as well, and a ton of Infestors. And I feel like Serral's doing all the right things, and Clem is just not letting him have it work. You know? Like, I feel like every time the Vipers get anywhere near Clem, the EMP is so fast they're unable to even cast these spells. Hopefully these investors can do a bit better. You know, the drills are going to be important, any fumbles are going to be important, and if he can't land those spells, well, really, that's his chance to get efficient here, to make something really happen.
You know, the fact that it's not even just the two bottom right bases. Oh my God, the Warlord's going to be going down there. Hold that thought. We have a lot of shots fired in here. The back and forth continues on, but Serral is driven away. I was saying that the three bases on the bottom right, they're just not being mined from. And Clem's basically saving them. He's just saving them. He's letting Zerk waste money taking this. Okay, he's finding this command center down here. If Serral can get, I would say, 2 of the 3 bases here. I'm sorry, Clem can get 2 of the bases here in the bottom right. Serral is going to be economically unviable.
Yeah, I think you're just about right about that. Like, Serral has a huge base, by the way. We haven't really mentioned that yet, but he has 11,000 minerals, 2,000 gas. But Clem has an unbelievable base as well. The Terran, 8,000 minerals, 3,000 gas. That's huge, especially with the cost efficiency that he continues to show throughout. Now some Thors coming out, his ghost control has been immaculate. You can see the EVs going down, the snipes going down, clearing out a lot of these brood lords so far. Like, this is the first time, I think, and look at this, 17,000, 34,000. He's kept the 2-to-1 ratio, which doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. He's just getting more value in every fight. I've never seen it where it's Serral playing and I'm like, oh, this looks hopeless. Like, I don't even need this. This looks okay. You know?
I've never really seen late game Serral up against the ropes, but here we are. Another push comes in here into the bottom right. Keep in mind, even the gases haven't been mined from. We see drones come here and try to mine and they're driven right away. Now Serral is going to try to take advantage of the positional imbalance and come in here and take this out, but there's no minerals here. This expansion doesn't matter.
Not very much at all. Just a tiny amount of resources left. He's really putting a lot into breaking it, and I guess he will break it. It can be useful to break positions, even if they don't have too much, because it kind of opens up another place you might be able to attack the Terran. But Clem, like, he's forever maxed, you know? He's sitting here on like the perfect unit compositions, max supply, 20 less workers, so 20 more army supply than Serral. I mean, you look at his sensor towers, how quickly he's clearing areas. I understand how he has all these armies split perfectly everywhere as well. And he maintains the 2-to-1 ratio. I can't even believe it.
It's wild. You know, we saw Serral try to push into that base, and the moment it's built, their backup command center is thrown right in there.
Yeah.
Meaning that those bases are basically wasted. Now Serral is just getting pushed away from this base in the center right. The ghosts are going to take that hatchery out. I think we are slowly going to see Serral dry out. He's really not able to get that much done. The position in the middle of the map is so far forward here that there's no thing of value here. There's no like expansion or production or anything to really fight with.
Oh my gosh, Serral's throwing everything he has into Clem right now. He's trying to fumble, he's sending links, he's sending the investors forward. All the brood lords have already been cleared, but he barely makes any progress. The supply of Serral drops by 40 plus. Clem barely a dent.
Serral looking very tense right now as I think the walls are starting to close in. He doesn't really have a lot of opportunities. He has a huge bank, by the way, but it doesn't seem like if Clem is this maxed out, even after a huge spike like that, there's no obvious thing to pour those resources into to try to build the momentum to somehow get a lead and close this game out. And as every second passes, Clem is getting more and more of the bottom right side of the map. Now Serral at the top left side of the map promotes this game. That's going to mine out eventually.
And he's coming in once again. Mass servers being utilized, using up some of that 11K bait. Rolling in with the baits as well. Okay, and he pushes back some of these positions reasonably well. But now suddenly there's liberators to deal with. 3 tanks at a time, 4 liberators at a time, 4 ghosts at a time. Clem's production is just perfect.
Another push comes through here. Nice fumble there on the ghosts. Tanks are going to siege up there and later the blinding cloud making them useless. Serral with a decent fight, but again, I don't see the big picture really the fact that we're even seeing Karen push up here is sort of unfair. This hatchery's so low, I think he can just right-click it down if he wants. Is he going to go for it? He scans again. Clem being very cautious to not overextend, by the way.
Clem doesn't even know how to overextend at this point. The quality of his play is absurd, and you can see just how flustered Serral has been this entire time.
He's just going to try to come in here and flip that hatchery out. Again, Clem never overcommits. Always ready to might go back and train. He's going to do it again. This is a hatchery at like 4% HP. And he's going, no, just every time I will draw you in. He's going to snipe this investor. Barely doesn't get it.
Man, this is so rough for Serral. Normally, I feel like I could tell you like what unit comp you should go for to try and what you should try to do, but the pressure for Clem is literally nonstop, and there's sensor towers everywhere. So I really don't know what it is, but he's making a bunch of ultras to go with this mostly Hydra ring army, which I don't think is a bad choice. Like the Brutal is sure working. He's got to try something here. Now here come a ton of ultras trying to get in, but a